first of all, I want to start off everybody, obviously, what's going on, another crazy day in Nova Scotia. Thoughts and prayers and love to everybody out there dealing with the really tough times we have right now. It's another tough day in Nova Scotia, and there's an online vigil going on, and it's just an all around sad time. So lots of love to everybody out there. But on a positive note, we want to keep this going and keep it. Give an outlet to some people who otherwise are having a rough day. So this episode's dedicated to you. Man, how's everybody doing out there, guys?
Good, man. It's a beautiful day.
I love you, dude.
Everyone's just embracing the grind, right?
That's it. So if anybody's just welcome if you're just joining us again. My name's Kat. My business partner over there, John, on the other side. And in the middle, the star guest of the episode, a guy I've been training with a long time. Very, very talented athlete from Pictou County. Again, we're hitting up the area full of talented athletes. So this guy, his name is Matt Rehill. How you doing, Matt?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, man, hanging in there. Obviously tough times, like I said, here in the Maritimes, but I'm struggling, man, like everybody. I looked at people like you and other people, people like you and Jared and Roris and people who are mentally tough to keep me kind of getting through this, man. Not easy.
Yeah, man, it's hard times, not only for the province, but, hard times globally with everything that's going on, with the COVID crisis and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
the main focus is just sticking together as one unit, one team, and, we'll get through this together and it'll be happy days on the other side of it all, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like, again, John himself here. He owns 2 gyms. Yourself, you're a training guy. You train at least twice a day, probably most days, right? Like between the gym and the club.
Yeah.
How are you? You're a guy that's going to make do in any situation. But what are you doing to stay busy?
Yeah, so like when the club's operational, obviously I was doing 2-a-days. We train at noon, then we hit class at night, and then in between then I was doing my weights, right?
Yeah.
So I'm used to like 3 training sessions a day, so it's definitely been an adjustment. But you make do with what you need to do, right? So since everything's shut down, I bought my weight gear, so it's in the garage, and I'm getting my weights in. And
nice.
I fortunately live out in the country, so with lots of hills, so I'm getting my runs in. I live in beautiful Rehill, Nova Scotia up here, so I got a perfect 5K run right to look off and back. So
nice.
I'm very fortunate that I can stay in shape during this stuff that's going on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely always in good shape, man. It's I hate you actually for that. But it's nothing comes easy though, man. Like you put in a shit ton of work.
Really hard, yeah.
He does, man. He's that's it. There's no secret to anything, right, Matt? You've told me that how many times, right? Like you came into jiu-jitsu, like how long you been training now? Probably 6 years, 5 years.
Yeah, coming on 6 years or a little better.
Yeah.
When I first walked through the doors, I was heavy into the weightlifting and stuff like that. Training for powerlifting and stuff. 230 pounds, more muscle than brain, and I had 160 pound, 170 pound guys doing whatever they wanted with me, right? So that's right there is when I knew, this caught my interest, right? I needed to figure out what was going on with this fine art. So ever since then, I've been addicted, man. So it's just the rest is history.
Nice.
Yeah, you're an absolute savage out there, man. I love training with you. It's fun as hell because not too often. I don't know about you, John. Like obviously you're a smaller guy too, and when you get bigger guys, a lot of the times, especially I'm 40 years old. I don't want to fucking train with the big guy who's going to beat the crap out of me every time. Sorry, Mom. By the way, she told me I got to stop swearing. So, Mom, I'm sorry. That was for you. I love you. I'm not swearing anymore. So, yeah, going back to that, you don't want to train with the big person and get hurt all the time, but
True.
with you're so you're gentle, like you'll pass my guard and tap me out in a flow kind of way, like there's no aggression to it, even though it is aggressive, like and it's very hard to do that, man, and it shows kind of how you're a high level guy. You're a very high level grappler.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. And it didn't come overnight. It took a couple of years to get under my belt. When I first started, I was, go, aggressive, that sporadic white belt that,
Yeah.
you know, I already had strength behind me, so I used that to my advantage, you know, and I was very jerky, you know, on technique and stuff like that. But, you know, the more mat time you get, as we all know, you know, you kind of find your groove and you kind of find your flow, right? So,
Comes with
um,
experience.
yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
And when
So,
you're a white belt, you're going to use what you got. If
yeah,
you're strong,
exactly.
you're going to use your strength.
Yeah,
If I was a
exactly.
giant white belt, I would have smashed everybody.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I find it's very important to, you know, to know your body type and to, you know, glue that to a style. And where I'm such a bigger guy and I have strength on my side, you know, I play the crush game, and you know, I
Hmm.
like to follow people that kind of do that, like, you know, some of the ADCC guys, you know, that kind of mimic. I want to mimic their things, and you know, they're big dudes, and they float like a butterfly kind of thing, right? So I just kind of just like to stick around that stuff. So
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
Stay mobile.
yeah. He's. I don't. If you ever get a chance to roll with Matt, I would suggest to, because it's a lot of fun. It's yeah. For me, it's survival, absolute survival, in a fun way. Like it's just, you know, you can have those roles, you know, John, where you're just. That's what it's about, you know. It's you're rolling with somebody you have a lot of fun with and respect, and you just kind of go and whatever, man. You loot, you get tapped out, you go again, man. You start again, and it's about
Yeah.
surviving, right? So it's
It's nice
fun,
to
man.
roll with those guys you know you're not going to get needlessly injured with, for sure.
Yeah,
no, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our club is, because of, you know, yourself, and shout out to Jimmy Hall. You know, Jimmy Hall brought a lot of big dudes into our club in Pictou County. Jared McIntosh's club, and Jason's, like, our club. My God, the average size has got to be at least. I don't, like, in the adult class, it's got to be at least 6 feet. I could be wrong,
Jeez.
but maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe not.
Yeah. No,
But
I think actually, like, I'm the shortest dude around, right? I'm you know, I'm 5'11", you know, 6 foot, I like to say, on a good day. So,
yeah,
and it
some
goes right
big
up.
man.
It goes right up to, you know, Mark Turner, 6'7", right?
Yeah.
And
Oh man, he is
it's
so big.
yeah,
Yeah, he's big. He's a big guy.
yeah,
Yeah, it's, I don't know what's in the water there, but you guys all came at once too. It's like
yeah.
all of a
It's
sudden
just,
there's
you
like
know, it's.
seven giants.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty ironic how it happened. You know, we had the facility here, and you know, a group of guys kind of came together, and we all had one common interest, and that was training, right? And obviously, we have the club to our disposal, so it's kind of funny how it all happened. But that's why you had a big rush of just these big dudes coming in, and you know, eager to train and eager to get on the mats and learn, right? So it's feel goods all the time, right?
It's awesome. Big guys need big guys to train with, no
That's
question.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
They do, yeah. And there's a class that Jared holds on Wednesday night, and I got to say, it's my favorite class. I miss it a lot here. Um, it's just a wrestling takedown class, no, like, straight up, and it's like 45 minutes, pretty much a king of the mat, and it's
Nice.
so much fun. It's so much fun just
Wow.
going up against guys like Matt, and you know,
Yeah.
just going up. You know, you're getting thrown every time, but at the end of the day, it's just so good exercise, such good exercise, and good
Yeah. Wrestling's
laughs,
got to
and
be one of the toughest things to train.
yeah, man. Well, and we've had some really good guys come through there. Really, like some really good university, Dave Gillis, and those kind of guys come through there. So
Yeah, and you know, it's really good because let's be honest. Every single match starts on the feet, right? And someone that enters, you know, tournament and competition that has anxieties, I mean, that can just break a person. So the more you can get into
Hmm.
that environment, starting on the feet, you know, and being comfortable there, you're already 10 steps ahead, in my opinion, right? So it's
Oh
a good
man.
thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Dictate where the fight goes right away.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
yeah, we saw that in Tapper Tag.
Yeah,
Tapper
yeah.
Tag. Tapper Tag, man. What did you think of that whole experience?
Oh, it was amazing, right? Like I was supposed to compete in the first one, and I get injured last minute, so I was kind of in the bleachers for that. But nonetheless, it was still an amazing event, thanks to you and everyone else that was involved. You know, you guys are always giving us a platform to, you know, put our skills on display. So, I mean, that's always an amazing thing. But yeah, I got the opportunity to take a crack at it, the second one. You know, my partner Nathan Douglas, another beast out there.
Yeah,
You know, and on that day we did really well, and we ended up taking the show. So it was an amazing event, and it was an amazing experience. So Thank you for that, Kat.
Oh, well said. I thought it was, I talk about it all the time at all the jujitsu events we did. Like by the end of them, I just sat on the side. I'd end up actually starting. I was like getting drunk by the end of it, like backstage. I was so bored. I was like,
Me.
this is ridiculous. Like I'm not interested in this anymore. So I'd start getting drunk backstage. So I was like, oh, I need a different challenge. But I don't know. I think there's anyway, that we won't get into that whole aspect of it, but like you said, God, I kind of screwed up there. Continue on what you're
Matt
talking
was
about.
saying he loved the experience. It was the greatest thing ever. And then you said you hated it and you were getting drunk because you were so bored.
At least I had fun, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's
I
right.
had
So
fun too,
I
man.
had
I
a text.
remember it. That
I
was
had
a
a
good
text
night.
come in, so my train of thought went off. Sorry.
That was a good show, man. I
Yeah,
remember.
I walked away with some cash and some gear. Happy
Yeah,
felt,
man.
right?
And no, that's what I was getting at
The
because I was
Tapper Tags
saying
were
like
always so fun and exciting.
towards the end of the regular submission series, those events, like everyone kind of was different, and that's why I found was like I was just like bored. Like I remember the last one at the DeCoste, I was like getting drunk backstage. Diego's there, and then Jared had that amazing, beautiful scissor sweep into the heel hook.
Man.
But anyway, long story short, it kind of made me go into Tapper Tag, and then Tapper Tag became such a success. And I think it could be especially right now. I think you could release the footage, and it could. But Chael Sonnen, man. He keeps hijacking my shit.
Yeah, we do an annual Tapper Tag tournament at our gym now. Christmas time. It's like
it's like a fun,
thing,
right?
Yeah, the kids do it. We do it with our kids' classes. Like you created something super fun.
Shout out to that was Dan Vanderland's idea originally, and then
shout out to Dan Vanderland.
That's right. Shout out to Dan Vanderland's, and then Jared he perfected a lot of it too. So shout out to Jared and Rorson. They were the winners of the first. So Pictou County Jiu-Jitsu, man, took the titles too.
Those guys win everything, man.
That's right. So I got to ask you, Matt. Man, for anybody who isn't aware, Matt, he works in corrections. He works in the jail as a captain there. A pretty high position and a guy that you definitely want in that position. We have a couple people in our gym that work there, and I couldn't be prouder of you guys and girls who work there represent our club very well. And how do you do it? Tough job.
Yeah, it is a tough job, but at the same time, it's very rewarding. It all depends on your outlook and on how you want to, perceive things and stuff like that. But growing up as a kid and stuff, I was always, up here. Like I was higher strung anyway, so I kind of knew. Didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew it was something that had to keep my interest, had to be different every day. I would never be a Monday to Friday behind a desk kind of guy. And one of my buddies, that was a year ahead of me in high school, when he graduated grade 12, he took corrections and, he entered the prison system, when working in the correctional facilities and stuff like that. And I got a lot of feedback from him that kind of steered me in that direction. So I ended up going to the police academy, graduating in 2013, and getting hired right on out of school. And, the rest is history. And like I said, it all depends on your outlook. It is a negative environment a lot of the time, but as long as you go in with a positive mindset, and you're not going to be able to change the world in a 12-hour shift, but as long as you put your best foot forward and try to make positive change within that 12 hours, you can leave that building with your head held high. And that's what I do every single shift. And, I love it. Every day is different. Not every day is the same. And that's what keeps me getting up out of bed and going to work. So it makes me tick, if that answers your question.
That's a damn good answer.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a mic drop big time. That's a fantastic answer. That shows the passion in it, right? Like, and it's a very good way to look at it. Like, how many people, John, have you been around that work in that profession or other profession, whether it be police or whatever it happens to be? They're very, very tough professions. Paramedics, police, nursing, doctors, those, corrections, they're all sheriff. The list goes on and on. And, mentally tough is a very important part of it. And you handle it really well. And how you said that was really, really well done.
No, thank you very much. Like I said, it's, it is what it is, right? Like, don't get me wrong. There are days when, I have bad days, and those days will come and go, but it's how you deal with them is the important thing. And, it, being a correctional officer and now into management, working for the Department of Justice has created a beautiful life for me. And, I can't really say anything negative about that.
Good,
Right? So,
good. I like that. Good.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. John, you have any experience with corrections?
No, well, I owned a bailiff business about 15 years ago. I don't know how long ago now, a long time ago. So that's as close as I ever came to corrections, was serving subpoenas and doing things like that.
Wow, that's brave.
That was a long time ago, man. I don't know how many businesses I've been in and out of.
That's an
on the
interesting
path
business.
to where I am. Yeah, and that was, a guy came to me looking for a logo. Ended up partnering. Grew the business for a few years and sold it.
Wow, good for
Yeah,
you.
man.
Entrepreneur, but that's a beautiful
right.
thing.
That's it, man.
Creative
You gotta
mind. You gotta love
sometimes-
that.
You gotta follow these things down and see where they go.
That's
Look
right.
at that. I love that.
Yeah,
One day you be a millionaire.
I hope so.
You never know. I hope so too. I'm a business partner.
We're not gonna stop trying.
share
That's
share
right,
the
yeah.
wealth.
Let's make it 2 millionaires.
We'll spread it around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because right now it's
absolutely.
far from it.
Yeah.
How are you
Start
dealing with this
somewhere,
whole situation, boys? Matt?
Yeah, it's good. It's I'm much of a guy where I'm like, you got to deal with it as it comes. There's
Yeah.
no point in being
No sense worrying
more-
about something that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
or-
there's no point in being more negative than something already is. So you got to try to find the positives in every single situation. So
Absolutely.
the way I'm looking at this is self quarantine. You know what? I get to spend more time with my family.
Yep.
Yeah.
We get to do more family orientated things, which I love to do anyway. More walks in the woods. More time with the boy outside. You got to look at everything that's gonna help you get through it. So not only is the world globally struggling, but us as a province with all the other tragedies that have happened, as of late, it's a very devastating blow to the province.
Mhm.
But we're Nova Scotians, and we prove every single day that we can overcome anything. So as long as we stick together and work together and are here for each other, then we're gonna get through this. And when we do get through this, we're gonna be stronger together. So. Just try to find the positive in every negative, and that's what helps you get through, right?
It's all about
Jeez, man.
perspective.
You're gonna make
Boom.
me fucking cry, dude.
Do you work?
Yeah.
Are you right in the prison still in your current position?
Yep.
So-
So,
What's the I guess like the attitude of the prisoners and the vibe in the prison, like with the COVID-19 thing.
yeah.
You know,
So
just what
generally,
Curious.
without going into too much detail, because I just don't know how much detail I can go into, but
Yeah.
we
The people need to know, Matt. We need to know.
people need to know. All right, I'll give it to you. So basically, the reaction of justice and stuff has been overwhelming, in my opinion. We got ahead of the ball right out of the get-go, and we put a ton of preventative measures in place to make sure not only are every persons within our custody, clientele, if you will, are safe, but also, staff and everyone, administratively that work within the building are safe. So obviously times are a lot more stressful. The job's stressful already. But the stressors of, this virus getting in there, and then what that would do to our facility, it's just astronomical, right? So to this date, we've done an amazing job. Hats off to the government, hats off to the Department of Justice. We've been ahead of the ball, and we've been doing everything right, in my opinion. And
Good.
our clientele, they are stressed out, but they know that we're doing everything possible to prevent them from getting sick, and anyone from getting sick. So they are appreciative of that. So it's nice to see.
So they're like complying with everything as well.
Yeah,
Like everybody's on the same
they're
page.
they're doing their thing, and there's at the end of the day, that facility, any facility that doesn't have this in it, is probably the safest place to be. To be honest with you, I mean, what's more quarantine than a prison?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
If
couldn't agree more.
staff are taking all the preventative measures and they're making sure they're not coming to work feeling sick and they're not sick, then going to that place over there is more safe than me going to the grocery store to buy a bag of chips, right?
No question.
So
Yeah.
you got to look at it that way, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's lining up to get into prison.
No, that's right.
No. Well, have you been to Pictou County, John?
Not in. Man, I think the only time I ever go to Pictou County is if there's a jiu-jitsu tournament
He was there
or
for
a
Tapper
sub-series. Yeah, that was probably the last time.
Yeah, that's right. Tabertag too, commentator. Yeah, that's
right,
kind of interesting right there. Just another answer. It shows Matt's attitude, and that's a thing that he shows off a lot in the club. Something that Jared really loves, obviously, being a coach. What could be better for a coach than, and Haley's like that in our club. There's other competitors, Ken Beaton. There's other people, Justin. There's other people that I'm missing, obviously, but like really good competitors as coach. What more could you want, eh, John? And that's what Matt is, a positive, high-level competitor in our club, and it really changed a lot in our club too. Having you guys start
people
compete,
are going to look
right?
up to somebody.
That's right.
At that level, and that positive attitude is going to be contagious.
There you go.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the kind words, gentlemen, but it's just, like, I don't know, just finding that club, like I said, walking in there the way I did and being so intrigued and so interested in the art and how someone can control me when I'm this much bigger, stronger guy than them. Like, that's just made me hooked, right? And then fast forward, 4 or 5 months, I went from 230 pounds, still 230 pounds being in shape, to 220 pounds, in rolling shape, and I'll roll with anyone for 7 minutes, and I'll tell you, I'll push the pace all 7 minutes, and that's what shocks a lot of people, right? Like, I'm a big dude, and
it's not very fun.
It's just I've always had a passion for running, so I've never put that on the shelf. So, it gives me my wind, and when people can see how light I can be for how big I am and how long I can go for, it's shocking to them, and I think that's what gives me the edge a lot of the times when I step on the mats in a competitive aspect, right? So,
no question.
And just the club atmosphere is absolutely amazing, right? So it's hard not to fall in love, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's competing. I think is like something I'm terrible at, but I always love watching people who are really good at it. And you're one of those people. I love that aspect. And going back to what I said, like jiu-jitsu saying boring. It just, after you watch gazillions of matches, and from my end, I was just like, okay, so you need that different change, but there's still people that really make you excited because there's certain people that bring it, and there's certain people that just sit there and don't. Yeah. And you're one of those people that does. But John, you might be able to kind of add to this too. Like, being a dad, Matt, obviously Lachlan now, how old is he?
He's almost 2.
So, how did that change you and the whole, John, obviously you can add to this too. I don't have any children yet. So everyone at home heard that.
Yeah, there's somebody else there.
Yeah, what? I'm not in the studio, but yeah, how did that change you, Matt?
It changed me for 1,000% of the better. It's very cliche. You talk to your parents, you talk to friends and family who have kids, and they say, "Oh, you wait till you have your own kid. You just wait," and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's bullshit, right?" But it's not. Like, you have your own child, and you just look at this little thing, and you're like, me and another person made this little thing, and it just takes you to, it just recreates you as a person, in my opinion. And I have this competitive drive in me that needs to be fed. And I put a post on my Instagram there not long ago, and it was a picture of me competing, and that's exactly what I said. Dreaming of the time I can feed my competitive side again, and I always had much of a kill or be killed mentality when I stepped either on the mats or in the ring, or back in the day when I competed, high level in judo, and when after Little Man came along, that changed, right? I'm still competitive to the point where if you're gonna beat me, you got to take me out, but I'm not willing to go that that extra step where it's gonna take something away from him, whether I get injured. I had a bad injury where I kind of hurt my back You know, and I couldn't even bend down to pick him up. And you know, I'm not looking to do that. You know, I need to be here for my son, and I need to be here for my family and my wife. And you know, it's a game changer. You know, John,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
It's a game
It
changer,
absolutely
right?
brings everything
The
into
passion is
perspective.
still there, but you're not willing to go that extra distance where, you know, you're gonna get hurt and it's gonna take time away from the ones you love, right? It's just
You got
it's hard to
responsibilities.
explain, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's yeah,
No,
it's
it's true.
just
That's a
yeah,
good way of putting it.
yeah,
You know, it
so
definitely narrows down what's important in your life. Or
exactly
what's
right.
most important and what's going to have to be prioritized.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and
you
you know,
want to.
I'm so lucky in the fact that you know my family, you know, my parents, my siblings, my wife, they're so supportive of what I do anyway, and they know it makes me happy. So you know, to have little man there on the sidelines cheering for me, it just lights a different fire under me, and
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
you know, it's a feel good feeling all the way around. So
Yeah, I think I love that. And I think to me, when I see people being good dads, and you post a lot of stuff with your son, and John,
oh
he
yeah,
posts a lot of stuff with his sons. I love that stuff. To me, that's the coolest thing. And often I'm jealous of it. I don't know if, to me personally, I'm like, I don't really know if I want children. I don't think I do.
Backpedaling now.
Yeah, totally backpedal. But on the other hand, you see that and you're like, oh, what an amazing experience. I think that would be, right. And kudos to you
Yeah.
guys for being great dads. I think it's so important because a lot of people don't have it.
Blessing, man.
yeah, it really is, right? So it's a good way to good way to give back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a good way to have an excuse to do all the shit you loved doing when you were a little kid.
That's right.
Now you can do it all again.
Yeah, we need a couple 4-wheelers. Yeah, we need to get
Bro, I built a
man
tree
down
house
here.
while we've been off for COVID.
We need a couple 4-wheelers.
Yeah.
Looks like we need a boat.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
Can't get everyone in the yeah. I see
I bought
Matt.
3 dirt bikes.
Yeah.
yeah,
And look,
exactly.
Ashley, I think we need a pig.
Yeah.
John's got a pig, a pet
You
pig.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For
no,
real.
it's good.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. You're a big hunter too. You're a big outdoors, like adventure kind of guy too. You and your buddies, you're all pretty tight.
Yeah.
You guys, do you go to a camp or any of that kind of stuff?
So you know, like I'm pretty fortunate when it comes to my buddies. You know, I have a really tight knit group that we stuck together, and it was kind of like right from grade primary right through. And you know, I won't. You know, it's you know, there's 5 or 6 of us that are still thick as thieves to this day, right? So, and you know, I never became like a huge hunter just because I never had the resources to do it until I moved up here to my property that I'm on now, and that was about coming on 6 years ago now. So every hunting season, you know, I disappear into the woods. You know, yourself, Kat. You know, you see me less at the club because you know my main priority at that moment is to fill the freezer, right? And then as soon as I'm done with that, I come back to the club and it's back to business. But you know, I'm a big outdoors guy. You know, I love being in the woods. I just find a peace in it all, and I hope to share that with my son. You know, he loves to be in there with me. You know, he's not even 2 yet, so I hope that rubs off on him. I'll teach him the tricks of the trade, and hopefully he follows in my footsteps. But I do want to give a shout out to one of my buddies, real good buddy, Nick Arbuckle. You know, he has some nutritionist course behind him, and you know, he recently kind of came on with me, and he's kind of doing meal plans and stuff with me, kind of helping me through my nutrition just to keep me on point where I need to be for competition. So I just do want to give that shout out to him. So much respect for him, and
good guy.
Yeah, a good part of the team too, right? So he's lending a hand wherever he can. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. I like him. He's a really good fella.
Yeah,
good guy.
Real nice.
Yeah, is he training much at all? Well, no one's training now, but
yeah, he's not training much like at the club wise, but he's out. He loves the road, right? So he's out pounding the pavement, pounding the dirt. You know, he bought one of these fancy Fitbits that I can't wrap my head around spending $700 on, but he's always bragging about burning 1,300 calories a day and all that shit. So maybe it's worth it, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I see a lot of those posts. I can't get motivated to do that. I do my runs and my
Yeah,
push-ups, but I
yeah.
don't
I'm real
track it.
bad with technology, as you know, Kat. I've messaged it about 15 times a day trying to figure out how I'm going to do this, but I
Man,
don't know. I
Figuring
one
it
just because
out.
I like the idea of one just because I'm so active and I'd like to track that, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd know how to use the damn thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it's sometimes it's I don't know. I'm not a big believer. Well, it works obviously. It's super high level, but I'm just not a high level athlete, so I guess I don't need it. I guess that's what I'm getting at. But yeah, it's so anybody who isn't aware, Matt, you have a little bit of a boxing past too. You box quite a bit, other than jujitsu. When did you get involved in boxing?
Yeah, so obviously my first martial art I ever did was judo. So
Hmm.
me and Jared already had a pass. Me, Jared, Kitson, already had a pass from judo. So I started judo at a
Okay.
very young age, and went through judo right up to I think it was my blue belt before I stopped doing judo. So I competed. I competed all the time in judo, and then like I said, like I always had this competitive drive in me that I needed to be doing something, and as a young kid, I grew up in rural Thorburn, out in the country. So, I grew up going to Thorburn Consolidate. I was a chubbier kid, and kids can be cruel, So, um, I wasn't kind of the sport guy, but once I kind of got up in the grades, 8, 9, I kind of sprouted up and became into my own, and that's when I kind of really threw myself into sports. It didn't matter what it was, hockey, soccer. When I got to grade 10, 11, 12, I played high level rugby, and I kind of excelled in that. But through those years, I was doing the boxing thing, and I had this interest in fighting, and like I said, I was always a bigger guy, so um, generally when bigger guys when they hit, you kind of feel it, right? And
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. It's just I always had that interest. The fighting game always interested me, so I competed quite heavily in boxing. Um, Ended up moving to Halifax, fighting under Tyson Cave. Um, Ended up always. I never left amateur and went to pro, but
Yeah.
I always fought on pro amateur cards. I was always the main event on amateur cards, and then usually Tyson was the main event on pro cards. And
Oh, okay.
I ended up taking it quite far, and I ended up winning the Nova Scotia heavyweight title and the Maritime heavyweight title. I fought
Nice.
a big heavyweight. His name was Chris Dill at the time at the World Trade and Convention Center downtown Halifax,
Cool.
Cool.
and won. He was the current Nova Scotia heavyweight champion, and the Maritime heavyweight champion was on the line, and I took both belts. So
My
after
man.
that, I fought a couple more times and then retired with the belts, and the rest is history. And like I
Yeah.
said, I kind of went into weightlifting, and um,
Natural
you know,
progression, right?
yeah, I kind of went into weightlifting, and then entered the jiu-jitsu scene, and like I said, just fell in love, right? And I
Mm.
always had a competitive drive in me, so it kept going. It just evolved into something different, and jiu-jitsu, it's a lot different than boxing. Like boxing is in my opinion like an individual sport.
Yeah.
It's you and another man in the ring, and where you're trying to take each other out and you're trying to get out of there unscathed. And where jiu-jitsu, when you step on the mat and you compete, it is an individual sport at that moment, but everything leading up to it is like family, right? Like jiu-jitsu, everyone loves everybody. It doesn't matter where you go, what club you go to. If I go down to John's club tomorrow, I'm going to be as welcomed as I am walking through my own club's doors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I love about it, right? It's such a good energy and a good vibe. It's infectious, man. And
Mm.
I got the bug, and I can't get it out of me, right?
Yeah, me too. It changed my life, and same as John. Obviously, John's a black belt. I'm a brown belt. You're a purple belt,
Yeah.
and soon to be higher, I'm sure. Right? And it's one of those things that just it grasps you, And if
Mm-hmm.
anybody hasn't experienced it before, to be choked or to choke somebody, and I know that sounds weird to some people, but it's no one's out to hurt one another, and everyone's out to make everyone feel better in a weird kind of way. It's a super cool feeling. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to be challenged mentally and physically at that level
Yeah.
in anything else. I mean, it's incredible. When I started, I remember I tried a free month with Patrick at Abaya so I could beat my buddy up that I used to fight in my yard.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't think I'd be there for very long, and I didn't, And then a couple years later, I owned the club and been there ever since, obviously. But yeah, man, once you try it, Jesus, if you're one of those people that are into that kind of thing, man, there's nothing better.
Yeah. And I just find like the whole art of it all, it's like,
Mm-hmm. It's never
90,
ending.
99% of the time when you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're controlling what's happening. Where in boxing, right, it's like you punch somebody, you're all. You don't know what's going to happen to that person, right? And I never did like that aspect of it. I was willing to do it because the other person was willing to do it to me. But I like the aspect of being able to control what's happening, unless it's a catastrophic injury that no one can control, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that does happen, and it's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
it's the whole concept behind it. It's an awesome thing.
Well, you can go hard in jiu-jitsu, with good training partners every day.
Yeah.
You can't do that in boxing.
No.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
if you're doing that, you're gonna be fucked.
Yeah.
So that's one of the huge things I think with jiu-jitsu as well is just being able to do that and really push it.
Well, there's no better feeling if you like you're training. We all have people that you can go with, or multiple people that you can go with really, really hard, and you just push each other. And super fun. Yeah. Exactly. And I think it's all that serotonin, those endorphins are running, and most times you're not hurt, right? Like so.
Yeah. And it's the experience, guys. I mean, you've got the control which you've developed over years as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Learning to move through space and your 3D spatial recognition has been developed. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Say that again.
Oh man, what did I say? Did I drop?
Did you just say I have 3D spatial recognition?
I said your 3D spatial recognition has been developed.
Oh.
It was impressive.
You just said it like it was fucking for real, though. Like I was like,
no, I'm being serious.
Oh, he is serious. Oh, okay. Maybe I do have it.
Yeah, we would all have it. Men in general have better 3D spatial recognition.
Slow it down.
Women. That's why they can parallel park.
Oh, jeez. Ooh, that's a whole different podcast.
Hey, man.
But
look it up.
Ooh, wow.
Fucking look it up.
Look it up, he says. Yeah. All right, Maddie. So I got to ask you, before we get going here, for anybody who isn't aware, make sure you get in touch with this guy. He's an absolute beast, a great guy, a motivator, a fantastic competitor. He can really help you out in a lot of ways. But for you, what's some advice for anybody who's kind of just wondering, like, why should I come in to jiu-jitsu? Like, you're one of those guys that's going to be right there at the front door saying, "Hey, I'm Matt. How you doing? Welcome to the club," or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, why should they do it?
Yeah. Why should you do it? You should do it because, if you don't take the risk and you don't step out of your comfort zone, things don't grow in your comfort zone. I'm a big believer in that. So, whether you stay in your comfort zone your entire life, that you might live a fantastic life, but if you step on that other side of the fence, you never know what's waiting for you. So, step out of that comfort zone. I encourage everyone to do that. What's going to happen? You're going to go and roll on the mats, and at the end of that night, figure out that it's not for you, and then go back to whatever you've been doing, or you're going to fall in love with a new art, with a new sport, and it's going to absolutely astronomically change your life. So to step out of that comfort zone for 30 minutes, 40 minutes or an hour, whatever the class may be, what's the harm in that? So, be courageous for that moment. Don't be scared and take that walk forward. I know a lot of people out there, suffer with anxieties and stressors and stuff like that. And, that me personally, that is my outlet, my weights, my family, I get out on the road, I run, I listen to my music, that's all my release. And if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would do. But if I never took the chances to, when I was out of shape and I didn't walk into the weight gym and start lifting weights, where would I be today? If I didn't walk into the jiu-jitsu gym because I knew I had a competitive drive in me and I wanted to feed that, where would I be today? If I didn't think I could do this 5-kilometer run, but I never tried, where am I going to be? So just step out of your comfort zone, put yourself out there, try new things. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, then you always have what you're already comfortable in, and there's nothing wrong with that. But try new things because you never know what's going to change your life for the better. So,
Bam! There you have it, folks, from the man himself. I love it. I love you, buddy. You're a hell of a guy, a great dad, a great husband, and a great training partner. So
thanks,
stay
buddy. I
well.
appreciate it. Listen, John, thank you,
Thank you,
Kat, for
Matt.
having me out. It's always a pleasure. You're always giving me these platforms to do my thing, whether that's competing or sharing some advice and sharing my thoughts. So, thank you. You're doing a great thing for athletes, in this province, but even more than that. So, my hat's off to you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you very much, buddy.
Okay.
You're a good man. I love you,
See
buddy.
you.
And take care of that family, and we'll talk very soon. There you
I
have
will,
it,
buddy.
folks.
Have a good night,
Matt
everybody.
Take care, Matt.
Silverback, Rehill. All right, my man. That was awesome. He's a great guy, great friend. Give him a follow, folks. The Silverback. We're going to move on right to our second guest. A great guy out of Calgary, Alberta, really changing the scene in Canadian MMA lately. Spoke to him over the last little bit. Runs a fantastic website. Again, located out of Calgary, Alberta, MMA Empire. Some of you may or may not have heard it. If you haven't, make sure you go check it out. Available on all social media. Joel Griffith. Let's bring him in right away, folks. Here we go.
Hey, Joel.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How are you, sir? How's things?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you guys?
Perfect, man. Real good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say real good. We're having a rough
Wow.
go over here. I know what John means. Real good, but
I'm
we're
having a comfortable evening.
yeah, a comfortable. I love Joel. I fucking love you, man. So, how's the weather in Calgary? So you guys got some snow?
I'm actually not. I live in Calgary, but I'm not in Calgary at the moment.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
actually I'm in Campbell River on Vancouver Island, visiting my parents. So the weather out here is always good.
Yeah. Wow,
So,
jealous.
but yeah, so it's but
It looks
from
real nice out there from what I've seen on Facebook, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's I mean the winters all they get is pretty much rain, but when you get into the summer, it's you get a lot of nice days. It doesn't get too hot either, so it's kind of perfect.
Wow.
Nice.
Definitely jealous. So, well, I got to ask you, thanks again for joining us. Anybody, again, who isn't aware, this is the man behind MMA Empire. If I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, Joel, just let me know. Joel Griffith, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I had it spelt wrong there, so my apologies. I dropped
Yeah.
the ball.
No problem.
But, where did MMA Empire come about?
It kind of started when I just finished school for journalism, and it's hard to find a job that like in sports writing. And like right out of school, I got on with the Calgary Herald, but it was just doing kind of normal city news, which it was fine. It's just not. It wasn't really my passion, and I figured the more I did that kind of writing, the more people would think that that's the kind of writer I want to be. So
yeah, true call.
I kind of just thought of, what are some ways I can, kind of go back more into sports. And I was kind of looking around at the different sports around there and, kind of looking at, who's doing what. And, there's a lot of people covering MMA, but they're kind of doing all UFC and the main promotions, right? And I noticed that there really wasn't barely any coverage of anything regional. And so I just, I just kind of thought, you know what, this would be a good platform for some of these guys if I can grow it. And one of my good friends, Keegan Oliver, he's fought, he's been fighting for quite a few years now. So, I kind of became familiar with MMA through him. And so, I kind of just went with it. And yes, so far it's been nothing but good.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's definitely been. Oh, sorry, John.
No, go ahead.
It's definitely been very successful. I don't know if you've caught any articles, John, or not, but he just did actually. Yeah, he did a great article yesterday on Zach, actually.
Yeah, there was a great article actually. I read that one. Zach's a buddy and obviously fought on our card, so it was really cool to see. It's really well written.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good story. Yeah. Zach's a good kid, man. I mean, I got nothing but good things to say about that guy. So it was nice to see. And like you said, like to see somebody, he's got 2 amateur wins, but this great article comes out and people get to find out, a little bit more about what he's like and what these guys are like, and they don't have to get to the UFC before that happens. So that's
killer. Sorry, Joel.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just like they don't have to be in the UFC or Bellator to have a cool story behind them, right? So.
Yeah, for real.
Couldn't agree more. And that's like why like you were really gracious to us. Like when we were like same as favorite MMA talk, like and top of MMA news, like. They didn't give us as good a coverage, but Derek came out on the night of the event and gave us some coverage with good coverage. But at the end of the day, I think it's a great niche, and to me, it's more important. It's like I say, why I reached out to you. Like you have a story. Why not talk to you tonight on this podcast? Like a lot of people know you for what you do out in Western Canada, and now you're starting to move your brand to the east and move your brand through Ontario, Quebec, starting to do amateur and professional rankings on the East Coast. Why not give you a little bit of a platform out here? So hopefully you can build up on the East Coast, therefore making it better for everybody here too, right?
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I guess that's the hardest part when you get started, or in this case, get started out east, is just, letting people know that this is here, that this exists. And so, yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, your level of content, like you've been grinding on this for years.
Yeah.
There's a ton of articles on there, and yeah, man,
yeah.
There's a lot of work that's gone into that. So it's good to see you growing and expanding, moving forward.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it because there's a ton of good fighters out there as well, and obviously good events. And like your guys' first show was off the charts, I thought. And,
thanks, man.
Yeah, it's going to be good. For sure.
Yeah, it's that, and that's it, right? Like for the way I look at it, everybody's trying to just kind of help and work together to get the scene back to kind of where it was a little bit before, right? And I think it's going to get there in tenfold, really, and with people like you in the scene covering it and doing a good job too. Like the rankings, like that's a lot of work to go into it. And shout out to Keegan Oliver. He fought Chris Kalidas there, actually. Tough bugger, that guy.
Oh yeah, Keegan doesn't. Yeah. There's no one he won't fight. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, man. I've got some interesting videos from him and Derek Cosa and Jesse Arnett. Let me tell you, they're quite the cats. Those three.
Yeah.
That's where I was going to ask you. What's your relation to Jesse? He obviously came out and fought for us, so he was the main event. A great guy, super tough athlete. Came out with the win. What's your relation to him?
I've met him. I've done a few interviews with him and I met him a few times. Initially met him through Keegan, actually. It was a Hard Knocks card in Calgary here that they were both fighting on. And I was actually working for Hard Knocks at the time. I was doing like social media and stuff for them. Mm-hmm. So that was the first time I met Jesse was through Keegan. And that was when Jesse was kind of right in the midst of his, crazy 12 fight win streak there.
Man.
Yeah,
it's still hard to believe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The guy's an absolute animal.
Yeah. And Hard Knocks was really tearing it up there for a while. What's the deal with them anyway? Are they done?
I wish I knew the exact story. I was never really told a good answer. They had that St. Patrick's Day card that was supposed to go and then ended up getting canceled. Pretty last minute. I can't remember how short notice, but they ended up canceling it and then just haven't restarted. And I don't really know why, which it's unfortunate because it was nice having something in Calgary and they put on good shows too.
Yeah.
But
so now you're John. I'm not sure you're familiar with Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I am familiar with Hard Knocks. I think Josh Walker actually fought out on their cards way back and a few guys.
Yeah, they definitely put on a good show. And so is Unified? No, there's XFFC up north. Yeah. Is Unified and I know I'm missing one out there.
Unified's in Edmonton. XFFC
Rumble
is Grand Prairie. Yeah, Rumble in the Cage is Lethbridge. And then Z Promotions Fight Night. They kind of go back and forth. They're kind of they go they kind of bounce
Vegas,
around.
go to Vegas,
they've been to
Toronto.
Vegas, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So
Old Tom, man, he's got the ideas. He doesn't mind. Anything I've heard about that guy, 10 out of 10. I've never heard a bad word as a promoter. Fight Night by Zed Promotions, every fighter speaks very highly of them, and that's what you want to hear. Like, I love hearing that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're all my dealings with them. They've been fantastic. Tom is definitely, he's one of the nicest guys you'll meet.
Cool.
And yeah, their hospitality is fantastic. They take care of everyone. Their fighters, their staff, their people who are watching, people who are attending, everyone. They take care of everyone.
Nice.
Yeah, their shows are beautiful, and their fights are fantastic. They have some really, really fantastic fights on their cards. So they're a promotion you look at, and you're like, oh, like I look at it, John. I'm not sure about you, but I look at it from a production standpoint. They've done a lot of beautiful cards. They really have, and they go all over the place. So they were just in Ontario, and I think they were doing a back-to-back show, maybe in Alberta at the same time. Am I wrong?
They were. Yeah, they had them. They were planned anyway. That one in Ontario, I think, was March. Is that right?
I think it was. Yeah.
And then they had originally had one planned for Medicine Hat in April or May.
Yeah, May 2nd.
And then they rescheduled it to June, middle of June, I think.
Yeah.
So if
that's gonna happen, maybe.
Shout out to Aquafina Water for the sponsorship, by the way. Kevin Tebow worked for Coke, so you didn't sponsor us yet, but you're going to. So shout out to Coke.
That's how we get sponsors, Josh.
Yeah, force them, strong arm them.
Yeah, right.
So did you cover boxing too?
No, just MMA. I haven't really thought about boxing yet. I mean, there is Decada in Calgary. That's a pretty big one, so it's certainly an option. But right now, just MMA. Yeah.
Yeah. So you travel up to Edmonton for Unified?
Yeah, Edmonton to Unified. Grand Prairie, Fort McMurray when they have it there. Nice. If I can, I'll try to get to BC too for like Rise FC and I haven't been to a Battlefield one yet, but I'd like to. Yeah.
Well, we'd love to get you out here at some point. Obviously, if we can work it out, like some day down the road or something. If we can get big enough where we can bring in media, I think it would be cool to do that.
Oh, I'd love. Yeah, I've never been anywhere east of Saskatchewan in my life, so I think it'd be also cool to check out the East Coast. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's an incredible place. It's a really beautiful, beautiful place. If no one's ever been here, it's something special for sure. I've been across the country multiple times by train for my job, and I love all of Canada. It's special, and out here definitely is a special part to it. So come check it out sometime.
Absolutely.
As a guy that's obviously been to, a lot of shows on the West Coast, what stood out to you, like as a promotion that kind of went above and beyond? But what did you feel like? Who do you think was pulling off the smoothest show with the best production value?
I felt right.
On the West Coast, is there anything you kind of gleaned from attending these different events that maybe you could pass on to us as promoters starting off on the East Coast here? That was like, this was a waste of money, or this was really cool, or people really appreciated this, or maybe I just put you on the spot there with that one.
No.
Yeah, you have to put more money into your media.
Yeah.
I mean,
more perks for media.
I mean, you guys said it yourself. The production of Fight Night, how they kind of do all their production with the all their TV screens and stuff, and then their fighters walkouts. I mean, that the whole production end of it, I think Fight Night they kind of stand out for me.
Nice.
And the fighters seem to like it a lot too with everything they do. Like they do a bunch of everyone, no matter who it is on the card, they do kind of pre-fight interviews for every single one of them and play those on the on the big screen before the fight and that kind of thing, which everyone seems to like there.
Of course, yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
I think I don't know, I guess always the best shows, they just seem to be the ones that are the most organized, that run on schedule.
Yeah.
Like there's certain times. I mean, sometimes it's out of their control, but sometimes they're running an hour or something behind, and that's I don't. I mean, for me, I personally, that doesn't matter to me, but I can't see that the fans watching or anything, or the fighters like that. So yeah, to me, I think it's just whoever's the most organized. Those seems to be the shows that are the best and kind of run the best and most enjoyable.
Boom.
Yeah, it's so
Be
true.
organized, be on time. Oh, 100%.
Man, well, who wants to, like, I don't want to go meet someone and pick something up. Like, I ordered something and it's not there, or it's not what I ordered, or it's 10 minutes late, or whatever. I want what I want. Whatever's been advertised on this fucking stupid poster that looks so good, I want that product there.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Sorry, Mom, I swore again. I'm gonna start putting loony in a loony jar. That's twice tonight.
Yeah. Tell your mom it's on TikTok.
So, what? TikTok?
Exactly.
She asked me about that today, if I was on TikTok.
Oh,
Like, yeah, I'm viral on TikTok. So what's your goals with it, Joel? Like, obviously you made the transition to go completely across the country, which I love. Is that you're just going to keep building from there, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think the sky's the limit, really. I think just keep the more content keeps coming. Maybe try and get a few writers that come on as well to help with the content. And I have a few other ideas as well that I might try down the road that'll make it even better. Kind of things that no one else is doing right now. So I just think just keep growing it. I think there's a lot of potential for it, and it's at the end of the day, it's good to give you guys as a promotion and the fighters a platform as well.
Absolutely.
Coverage, yeah.
Are there any articles you're working on now that you're especially pumped up about, or is there any guys that you've been trying to get in touch with to put something together for?
Yeah, I'm working. I've been in touch with Xavier Nash in Ontario.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna do something here. Yeah,
cool.
And
TKO.
I'm trying to. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get something. I want to do something on the Louis and Charles Jourdain brothers. Kind of do a sort of a article on them together.
Cool.
Yeah, those are kind of two I'm kind of working on right now.
Nice. You always have a few pieces on the go, I guess, do you?
Always something on, always something on the go, or something on my mind. It's a lot easier when there's events going on, but
yeah, right. Get creative right now.
Just to be more creative. That's all. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like you say, it's a platform, and like you look at the. I don't know how much coverage you got, but it looked like quite a bit on Zach's article. At the end of the day, like that's a lot of work for you. So to have it pay off in a time like this, it's nice, right? To have that pay off, you put the work into it in a new area, and you see that it actually paid off. It's cool. Good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it did actually get quite a few shares, which was nice to see. I mean that's really what it's all about. Just and it's good coverage for Zach too, because it is he does have a cool story. So it was good to be able to tell that and get it seen by quite a few people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, everybody's got a story, buddy.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on? I don't know about you, Foster. Obviously UFC came out today and they.
Oh my God, Cejudo versus Cruz. I wanted to mention this right away.
Is it?
Dude.
Yeah.
May 9th. It's happening. Dominic Cruz is coming back. I'm stoked about this. I fucking love this guy.
The main
and I
prelim.
Can't stand Cejudo.
You can't?
I can't stand that guy.
I gotta like him because he knocked out TJ.
Fucking dances all over him, man. That guy's got the footwork.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens.
What do you think,
Joel?
Oh, I just want UFC back.
I haven't
got-
seen
Yeah,
the damn
man.
card yet.
The card is probably I don't think I've ever seen a more stacked card than the May 9th card. I don't know about you guys, but
First,
like it's
Man, all I
insane.
saw was Cruz posted that he's fighting Cejudo today. I haven't looked up anything.
you know what I don't like about the card
was on
right
the-
off the bat is Greg Hardy
Yeah,
Oh man,
on the
they
main
love
card.
that guy.
I'm so
Are you kidding
sick
me?
of this bull crap. It's bull crap. But the
They
rest
love
of the
that
fight
guy,
is
man.
good.
They are pumping that dude.
Oh, that Vincente Luke, Nico Price, that should be higher up.
that
Cowboy
should be.
Pettis. Man, Freeland, main Freeland? Wow, that's crazy.
Man,
Verdum's back, is he? Wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That is a
It's
stacked
just a
card.
stacked card from top to bottom.
Wow. And is it pay-per-view? Yeah, pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
and they're
Wow.
doing
Yeah.
three. They're doing 3 cards in 1
3
week.
in like a week, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we were saying. Like, and this is what we'll probably end up having to do too. Like, we have a venue lined up already. If and when they allow us to do events, which we're thinking is probably going to be sooner than later for under 50 people here, maybe like June, July-ish. If that's
Really?
the case, fingers crossed, June, July, August.
Fingers crossed.
I made all that up, by the way. But if it
This
happens,
is based on nothing.
based on nothing,
Other than
but
hope.
if it happens, we do have a venue, and this venue we leave the cage there, and we'll just bang off shows without fans. We'll just do what the UFC does. So that's the plan, and fingers crossed. You know, not that we want it to happen, but if we have to put on fights, we're going forward. So
Absolutely.
you'll have a product to cover here.
If there's a way, yeah. If there's a way, we want to keep things moving forward.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
it's October. That's when your next scheduled one. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's what we have currently scheduled for our
Yeah.
next like full blown event.
Okay.
You know, so right now, I mean, we're on the books with the commission for that date. We're talking to venues for that date, but you know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully by October 3rd, yeah, we're doing, you know, a big show with a couple thousand people or 1,500 plus people and blow the roof off something, right? But
Absolutely.
if not, then we got to keep things moving. And I think, like we've talked about this every show for the last couple of days, if we can even just run fights with amateurs and keep those guys progressing in their careers so they're not sidelined and missing a year of getting maybe 2 or 3 fights worth of experience, I think that's going to be imperative. Like, you know, we've kind of taken the onus upon ourselves to get these guys experience on the East Coast and grow the scene out here. So that's still what we're trying to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess that's the thing is no one really knows right now where
Man.
how long or what it's going to look like. So you just kind of have to go with the flow, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, right now we're just brainstorming and spitballing, and once we have facts, then we can actually put some things into action.
It's like
Yeah.
you're interviewing us, Joel.
It flipped it
just
around.
happens.
He turned it
I
around.
knew it.
No,
I knew that was going to
what
happen.
do you think, Derek? Well, let me tell you.
I knew
Yeah.
that was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We tricked you. That's what we did. We tricked you on purpose just to get you to interview us. Yeah. But that's hilarious. Yeah, it's interesting, you know, with everything that's going on. I'm not sure if you heard the news out here on the East Coast. Obviously, you've heard the news. You're in BC. I would assume you know what's going on here. And then today, I had to go home with my girlfriend. We had to drop something off. Originally, I'm about an hour and a half from Halifax, and we went home. And as we're leaving back, we get another alert on our phone. Today, there's an alert that there's another active shooting situation in Halifax. So it's been a stressful few days. Like, it's been really overwhelming, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. It's such a small community too. Like just the province in general.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's mind blowing. It's been so surreal, really. Like just the fact that this has happened, but everyone's kind of tied up at home. Like, we're all stuck here, so you're not at work, you're not talking to people, you're just getting your information off the internet. And it's crazy. Yeah,
it is. It's super intense. But what I got to ask you, you know, before we get going here, you know, you travel a lot? Like, what's your back, like, what are hobbies you're into other than writing? Like, what kind of, are you a hiker, especially out there? There's beautiful, beautiful terrain.
Big golfer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, huge. So that's in the summer. That's any free time. It's always golf. Yeah, been playing since I was 10 or 11. So that's always anytime I can get. Even if I don't even care if the weather sucks, I'll still play.
Yeah.
I just want to play. Yeah.
So like what's your handicap?
Right now it is 3.
Wow. Okay. I was down to a 6 when I was growing up, actually.
Okay,
and true story, I came out to Calgary and I played in a tournament in Calgary as a kid because I had a cousin out there, and I played in the tournament out there and placed, like, I don't know, probably 65th or something. I don't know what it was, but it was a really neat experience. And golf is an incredible sport, and I don't know how the membership is out there, but it's dwindling a little bit here, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're really pumping the kids programs here.
Yeah,
build back up.
Are they? Yeah, they're trying to fill them up. What's it like out there? Are you a coach? Or do you teach too? Or
I have taught before. Yeah, it's kind of something I've been on the fence about doing. Like actually getting my pro card, but I haven't done it yet. But it's kind of something I've thought about doing. As far as memberships out here, it always seems to be pretty busy pretty much wherever you go for the most part. Like where I play at Inglewood, it's on the weekends, you'd be lucky to get a tee time for 4 players before 2 or 3 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Busy.
Yeah, very.
Wow. You think, well, it won't be like that this year. Hopefully you can get out there. Are some courses open?
None are open in Calgary that I know of. From what I heard, Saskatchewan is starting to open. They got to go ahead to open their courses May 15th.
That's good.
Where I am here now, Vancouver Island, pretty much all the courses are open.
Nice.
They just have a lot of kind of strict guidelines to follow.
I mean, it's like the social distancing sport, really.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So have you been out then?
I was going to actually try and get out today, but I wasn't expecting how busy all these courses would be. Like I called a course that normally isn't very busy here, and they're booked up till Monday. So
wow.
It's like, so I don't know. I'm hoping to get out, but I haven't been yet.
Interesting. Well, hopefully we can all get back to somewhat of a normal reality here in the future, because it's certainly been, whether it's golf or it's like John, he owns a fitness gym, and obviously we're all involved. Do you do jiu-jitsu? Are you involved in martial arts?
I'm not. I just actually started working with Rehill at RK Fight Lab.
Okay.
So I'm just getting started in it now.
Cool. Awesome.
And it's been about
Great.
I guess a couple months now. Not recently, but been working with him for a couple months anyway. So he's awesome. He's a good amateur fighter right now out of Calgary as well.
There's a shout-out. I love that. How important is that, John, to have somebody like that when you're new coming into the sport that is like that? Like how, he just said pretty kind words about somebody. It's pretty important.
Oh, imperative. Well, I mean, Matt and everybody talks about the anxiety of going into one of these things, one of these, gyms, facilities, starting martial arts. Not everybody, obviously, but it can be quite intimidating. So when you go in and you're welcomed with open arms, and you got someone you can kind of glean onto and kind of show you the way. So,
makes a huge difference. I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Priceless.
Yeah, it's cool. And I think having somebody like... Sorry, John.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was going to say, I just love hearing that, too, because nothing kills me more than hearing someone went to a gym where they teach jiu-jitsu or they teach martial arts and someone was a dick and just turned them off it right away. Because I have heard of that, too, but it's much less common.
Yeah.
Well, you seem like a pretty sweetheart of a guy, man. I don't know how anybody could be rude to you, but You know, you're right.
buddy.
You're right. You too, John. That was for you, my business partner. Yeah, I don't know why I keep calling you. Like I always label him as my business partner. But from now on, I'm changing that to my boyfriend, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, it's important to have nice people in this sport, and with technology, and you know, it's not a great situation that we're in right now, but it does give the opportunity to chat to people with like you, and you know, people in the sport across the country and abroad that you wouldn't normally probably get to do this with, and you can forge these relationships that are going to start and continue to go and help one another in that way. So I think there's a lot of positives that can come out of this for sure.
100%.
I just talked to myself there, but you guys could answer if you want.
Sorry, I was watching something on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. But so give us some details on MMA Empire, buddy, before we get going, and how everybody can find you and what the future holds.
Yeah, it's it's MMAempire.ca, and Facebook, just MMA Empire, Twitter at MMA Empire Canada, and Instagram is at MMA Empire Canada as well. As far as the future, it's just hopefully everything gets back to normal as soon as possible, and we can get back to events. But it's just going to be, at least the immediate future, is going to be more of the same. Just as many articles as possible, as much coverage as possible for the fighters and promoters, events, everything, and just hopefully everything gets back to normal again soon.
Boom.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Wise words, and I couldn't agree more. And hopefully this isn't the last time we'll have you on. I'm sure we'll have you on lots of times in the near future, buddy, whether it's talking our events, Western events, or whatever it happens to be. Whenever you want to come on, we'd love to have you. And then maybe next time we can do something like a top 10 Canada rankings, or something like all three of us can do our top 10 pound for pound and kind of talk about it, or something like that. You know, something interesting. Anyway.
That sounds like fun to me, and thank you guys for having me on here today. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, you get out there, hit the ball, hit it straight, and good luck, my man. Have a great golf season. Lots of love, and thanks for the coverage you've given us out here.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
There,
Good to meet you, Josh.
Joel.
Thanks.
Well, you can call him Josh if you like.
That was Joel. My bad. Jesus.
See you later, Rick. We'll catch you next time. There you have it, folks. Joel Griffin, MMA. I love it. Fucking Joel.
Oh,
John, you're the best. Nothing like it,
Did
folks.
I call him Josh more than once?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
perfect.
okay. I call Levi Eli. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Hey, Eli. Good fight, Eli. You know, a shout out to our sponsors here, folks. This is a fantastic episode. Episode 34, John, in the books.
Hard
to believe.
Impressive work, sir.
Yes, good teamwork. There you go. Thanks to our sponsors at Privateer Harley Davidson, Under the Gee Old Road Barbecue, and the Nova Scotia Spirit Company and Takedown Distribution. Thanks for joining us on 90.3. I love you.
There you go, buddy.
Okay, folks, we'll see you tomorrow night. We got a great episode. Comedian Peter Anthony, another Pictou County native, been living in Toronto for a long, long time. Canadian Comic of the Year, Just for Laughs Gags participant for many years. And then Gerald Kilkenny, another Alberta native, a professional fighter, heavyweight out of Alberta. So it could be an interesting episode. I have a feeling, John.
Yeah, should be a good one.
All right, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow night. If you can be anything in this world, folks,
be kind.
All right. Lots of love, folks. See you tomorrow.